According to the World Health Organization, millions of people fall ill with tuberculosis each year and millions die from the disease. Now, this makes the world top infectious killer. Now, there's also another aspect of TB patients that needs attention, that is the mental health. And this comes as the 4-day biannual 8th SATB conference continues in Durban. Now, thank you so much, Bontle, for your time. I mean, we'll look at the latest developments around the issue of mental health in TB patients. What are they telling us?
Thank you so much, Bongiwe, for this. This is just so important and also passionate. I'm so passionate about this. You know, the patients who are affected by TB, they have to take TB treatment for a long time, and this causes mental stress to them. They are very anxious, and also they become depressed due to this. So in the conference this week, we've been looking at it and we've talked about it. However, we feel that the mental health of this TB patient is neglected. So what we normally suggest in our program is that, we should have regular screening of mental health, just checking their well-being, whether they are okay, and also making sure that the community is aware of TB. We should also all be aware that TB can be cured, although it kills so many people, but it also can be cured.
And when it comes to, the issue of medication, I was going to ask about it, and I'd like us to stay with it just a little bit, because you find that a number of TB patients would say that it takes so long for them to complete the treatment. So how then do those around them begin to make it bearable and much more easier so that they do feel that they've got some support when it comes to taking their medication?
It's true. The prolonged treatment course really make them very anxious and also depressed. So people who are supporting the TB patients, particularly the family and friends, all the loved ones that are involved, they really have to encourage them. They have to make sure that their mental well-being is taken care of. But we shouldn't also forget about themselves. Also the patient's family, because really TB, because you take it for a long time when you are sick with it, and it can also come up with side effects. So this can also affect, even your family, and they themselves can also be very stressed, and also sometimes they become also depressed because they are thinking that the loved one might die of this disease. So everyone should be involved. The media, we also, even the community, even the faith-based organization, civil society, everyone has to be involved. We are pushing that it's an integrated service, that everyone who is taking, long treatment, like your chronic medication, including TB treatment, every time we should check up on them, because remember, because of the stigma that is surrounding it, these people sometimes feel isolated, they feel guilty, they don't know really if they should continue with this treatment or not. And so it is our duty, everyone as South Africa, that we should always encourage them that, they should know that we are there for them, and they should also know that it's a journey that we take together, and TB can be cured.
And I suppose if that is the approach, then we take Bontle, it also, eliminates the aspect of stigma, which also then becomes a huge problem.
Yes, of course. And not forgetting also the healthcare workers, because the healthcare workers also, they have to be mentally resilient also to deal with this patient, because remember the healthcare workers also have relationship with their patients. So everyone really, we should be aware of this so that we eliminate stigma and discrimination. It is that time when they are very sick that they really need all of us, and they need our support.
So, Bontle, when we then stay with the issues around the healthcare workers, there is, of course, a number of them as well who on a day-to-day basis will be going through so much just on their own. I mean, you think about the COVID-19 pandemic having put a strain on them as well. You think about what they would be going through privately as well, and then now have to look after patients who really need them the most. How then do we begin to also support them in order to ensure that they adequately support some of these patients?
Honestly speaking, the healthcare workers, we know that they are short-staffed. We know that they are burnout, and we know that COVID really impacted their mental well-being also. They need support, and what we do and what we normally also encourage the government to do is to make sure that we train them, is to make sure that they are able to take care of themselves, self-screen themselves so that they can identify that they need help. There is also so many support for healthcare workers, and it is out there, but because they are so busy, sometimes they even neglect taking care of themselves or even remembering where they can seek help. So we are here in our project. What we do, we start by making sure that there is training for healthcare workers. We also make sure that there is training for everyone who is a non-professional healthcare worker, but dealing with community level support, so that they themselves can be resilient. We offer resilient courses so that they can also know that they are not alone. They are there. Where can they be? Where they can be referred, and also where they can be supported. We also encourage not only self-screening, but also, this lifestyle changes. What can you do when you identify that you are not dealing well with stress, burnout, and also depression? So really we need to support everyone, not only the patients, the healthcare workers too.
Bontle, how then, maybe some of the family members who are watching us tonight say, how then can I support, my loved one who's been diagnosed with TB, or I'm suspecting they have been, but they're simply not speaking, they're not coming forward or giving us information as to what is going on with them?
The first part is to just emphasize that TB can be cured. And the second part is to encourage that, that awareness is to encourage your loved one to seek help, to really go and check whether he is well or not, because you are suspecting it. But do it in a kind manner, in a way that it will build and without any judgment. If you are really struggling to convince, there are so many information in the internet lately, where you can just maybe send a link. You can go to, we've got a website that we call massiveviewer.org. There's so many ways that you can deal with how you can really talk to a person who is maybe having, who you suspect that they are not mentally well, and who you suspect that they've got a chronic illness that can ultimately kill them. So we need to ourselves, like I say, when I say everyone should be involved, we ourselves have to check when we talk to a sick person, when we talk to a loved one, especially when we are concerned, just our tone. We shouldn't judge, but we should advise with care. Remember, we should always remember to be kind, because this person might be not only dealing with a cough, not with TB, but the mental wellness of this person might be an issue. So do it kindly, and also refer yourself. Go to the internet, check, how do I approach a person who is in denial?
Bontle, quite an important way to end off there. Thank you so much for arming us at least with information, and hopefully our viewers know how to now be able to deal with, some of the patients who may not necessarily be coming forward, and really just be able to just help them, and care, being the operative word there. Do appreciate your time. That's Bontle Mogakane, Foundation for Professional Development, Mental Health Systems Strengthening Division there.